one final prediction of the 53-man roster and Sam Darnold film, in addition to a little camp recap. Sabo Radio, Jets X Factor, jetsxfactor.com. We were going to do a live show tonight, start transitioning into the live shows as Blewett did earlier this week, a couple days ago. But I figure Labor Day weekend, Friday, let's not do that. So maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday, Sunday, something like that. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 3 days a week, where we'll transition into more of a live show where people could call in, comment live on YouTube. It'll go on Facebook as well. And for those who are on the channel, you saw it with Blewett, with Kyle Smith at his side. I think it was 2 nights ago. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday night. But anyway, no live show here. Strict recording. Jets' final 53-man roster prediction. Everyone's giving their opinion. Everyone's providing their output, their input. Any kind of last-minute shockers. Basically, it's like this. You predict the 53-man roster, and I don't care who you are, you're wrong. It's just the way it goes every year. You put out these predictions and you're wrong. And with COVID and the pandemic this year, I don't know if it'll make it more cookie cutter and have the predictions come true more. It's possible because guys, coaches haven't been able to see some of the young players. There have been no preseason. So a lot of those kids can't stand up and shine. In Jets camp this year, Mike White was one of those kids who played well. Javelin Guidry at the beginning, but he tailed off, and we'll let you know about what I think is going to happen to Guidry. Lawrence Cager had his moments, got injured, which is the big issue with him, probably why he wasn't drafted. But in terms of ability, in terms of what he could offer as a receiver, not many guys can do what he does. So those guys had moments, but I think because of the pandemic, because of no preseason, because of uncertainty, I think the rosters will be more easy to predict. Obviously, there'll be cuts after the initial 53. Obviously, there'll be signings. For instance, Zane Lewis, the cornerback, was just Air Force kid, was just picked up off of waivers. And he was picked up off waivers late. That usually indicates the GM really likes him and he's going to make the 53-man roster. Obviously, it's not anything locked in stone, but those sort of things where you think that could happen, that gets multiplied by a handful when they cut down, and surprises that no one could ever predict it happen. But we'll roll through the 53 here because everyone else is. The interesting decision is obviously quarterback. Joe Flacco was signed. They want Joe Flacco in the room. He cannot go on IR. I forget the reason why he can't go on IR. I think it's because he needed to be cleared at the beginning of camp. I don't remember. But on the PUP list, he could be transferred from the active to the reserve PUP list and miss the first 6 weeks of the season. That's pretty much the only option. That and making the team. And if he makes the team, what is Joe Douglas going to do? Sam Darnold, Mike White, James Morgan, David Fales. They like David Fales because of how he understands Adam Gase's system. So they like having him in that room. But Mike White severely outplayed Fales on the field this summer. I don't think Douglas wants to lose Mike White. And Douglas doesn't want to lose James Morgan. Even though Morgan struggled a bit, he's a worthwhile pick in a spot where the Jets needed other assets, other needs, up and down the depth chart. So Douglas won't want to lose him. Does he have the stones to cut Morgan after one summer? I think maybe he does, but I don't think he can. I don't think he can afford it. It's not like Mike White was Joe Montana this August. He was impressive, but if it comes down to White or Morgan, they're going to choose Morgan. I don't even know if they're going to choose White over Fales, but I went Darnold, White, and Morgan as the three quarterbacks with Flacco starting the year on a PUP list. So even if he's healthy come week 2, week 3, Flacco, he won't return until after the first 6 weeks of the season. I think that's the best route to go. If not, they're going to have to carry 4 guys, and no GM wants to carry 4 guys. Running backs, Le'Veon Bell, Frank Gore, LaMichael Perine, Josh Adams. I think they would rather 3 here because Bell, Gore, and Perine are as solid as they come as a trio, but Perine's banged up. So I think Josh Adams squeezes in there. He can help in other areas, and he's a Joe Douglas guy coming from Philly. So pretty straightforward with the running backs 4. If they go with 3, we obviously know who they are. But I think Perine's injury, his ankle injury, and when he comes back is the key. If he comes back soon, no Josh Adams, and they keep 3. Wide receivers, Brashad Perryman, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Braxton Berrios, Lawrence Cager, Chris Hogan. Yes, Lawrence Cager over Dante Moncrief. Why? We already touched on it. The guy could do things few receivers can do. It's just that simple. He could high point it. He could catch it in traffic. He could be that fade guy in the red zone they need. Perryman and Mims have that ability obviously as well, but they were hurt a lot. We saw Cager do it a lot with Mike White. I don't care how injury prone he may be. Douglas won't want to lose a guy like that. He won't want to. Maybe the practice squad is possible. Would he get sniped? It's possible. Another team could claim him. It's extremely possible, and he could be on the 53 of that other team. That's how it works. If you claim a guy off the practice squad, sign a guy off the practice squad. There's no claiming. So I think it's Cager, and I think it's 6 receivers. Last year they started with 5. But 6 because Mims is still banged up. Perryman's still banged up. You got Crowder, Berrios, Cager, Hogan, no Moncrief, no Josh Malone, even though he's come on, no Jehu Chesson, even though he's come on. It's actually a deep group. As much as Jets fans want to smash the unit and destroy it, it's actually pretty deep. Reserves, Vincent Smith, Josh Doxson, Josh Bellamy. Bellamy's still on the roster technically, even though his Jets career is all but over. He got put on the season-ending PUP along with Quincy Enunwa earlier this offseason, and then Enunwa was cut. Doxson, we know he opted out. Vincent Smith, the deal there, surgery. George Campbell, Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith, tough for him because he started out as a starter in 11 personnel because of the injuries and just got banged up and hasn't been back on that first team since. DJ Montgomery, another recent waiver claim. They're all practice squad candidates. I go with 6 here. Hogan and Cager over Moncrief, over Jeff Smith, over Josh Malone. I feel pretty good with those 6. Tight ends, 3. Chris Herndon, Ryan Griffin, Trevin Wesco. Can they keep Daniel Brown? Of course. But I think he's on the outs a bit. And I think the Jets feel comfortable with 3 tight ends because of Gase's penchant to play 11 personnel, to play 3 receivers. So Herndon, Griffin, Wesco. Wesco's the de facto fullback, H-back. Clear cut. Tackles, 3. Mekhi Becton, George Fant, Chuma Edoga. Will Douglas keep 9 or 10 offensive linemen? 8 is the minimum per league rules. Chuma Edoga scares me. I think he could get cut. But the problem there is you don't really have another tackle you want on the team. Conor McDermott could play guard and tackle. He's more of a guard. If you cut Edoga, are you keeping Quali? Are you keeping Hilbers, the undrafted guy? It would probably be McDermott, and McDermott's not a true tackle, so you want more than 2 true tackles on the team. I know Van Ron and Clark could play right tackle in a pinch. Fant would move over to left tackle if Becton ever got hurt. But I'll roll with Udoka, take my chances. Becton, Fant, Udoka. Guards, 4. Alex Lewis, Greg Van Roten, Cameron Clark, Josh Andrews. Straightforward. Practice squad candidate, Brad Lundblade, Jared Hilbers for tackle. We move on. Centers, Conor McGovern, Jonathan Harrison. Let's not even discuss it. But let's discuss one thing, the depth. Again, the superstars aren't there. Hopefully Becton could be one. Hopefully McGovern raises his game even further. Maybe could squeeze in the top 6, 7 centers in the league. That would be tremendous. But the depth is there. You got Udoka, you got Cam Clark, who they love. You got Josh Andrews, you got Jonathan Harrison on the second team. That's not bad. So kudos to Douglas for what he did with the offensive line this offseason. Interior defensive lineman, 6. Last year they kept a bunch, 8 or 9, I remember, and it shocked me. I'll roll with 6 this time around. They need quicker bodies for special teams. Quinnen Williams, Steve McClendon, Henry Anderson, Kyle Phillips, Foley Fatukasi, Nathan Shepard. Nathan Shepard scares me a bit, but who are the alternatives? Franklin Myers. I wouldn't call Willis defensive lineman. He's an edge. He's an outside linebacker. Or a 4-3 D end. I think those 6 are pretty good to roll with at this point. Edge players, 5. Jordan Jenkins, Terrell Basham, Jabari Zuniga, Frankie Louvu, Jordan Willis. 5 is a bit much. 4 is usually the number here within a 3-4 scheme. The tough one here is Harvey Lange. And I think they like Willis better than Lange at this moment. Willis is getting some time with the first team, along with Louvu. With Basham out, with Zuniga slow to come back from that quad. So I think Willis is the right guy here over Lange. And if they keep 5, Willis should make it. Louvu, he's a guy who's come on strong as of late. I'd be shocked if he gets cut. Inside linebackers, Neville Hewitt, Avery Williamson, Blake Cashman, Patrick Onwuasor. A domino fell earlier today where James Burgess Jr. got cut. And remember, he didn't make the team last year. He's one of those guys who are always on call for Greg Williams, for the Jets. So he's been released already. Jets probably did him a service by doing that to see if he can catch on with another team. People know he's available now 24 hours prior to cutdowns, Saturday, 4 p.m., so he could be fresh in the mind. But again, if he doesn't catch on, he could be a guy that the Jets call. Hewitt, Williamson, Cashman, Onwuasor. The only issue is Onwuasor's injury. What do they do there? Reserves, obviously, C.J. Mosley for the season, opt out. Who knows what happens in his return next year in the game of football, taking 2 years off and trying to play again? Not easy. Cornerbacks, Pierre Desir, Blesson Austin, Brian Poole, Arthur Mallett, Quincy Wilson, Zane Lewis. And that's the one shock I have. Zane Lewis making it as a relative unknown because he was a recent pickup. I could see Guidry or Hairston. Hairston's a surprise cut for me. I could see Guidry as well. Guidry started strong, kind of faded a little bit, was the second team slot guy all the way. The reason why Guidry has a leg up, in my opinion, is because he fits that slot perfectly. He's the perfect slot guy. He's small. Reminds me of Ray Mickens. He's shorter. He's quick. His feet are ridiculously quick. And his 40 time is absurd. So even though he's not polished, he's raw, he kind of fits that nickelback that could turn into something. And I think Douglas might see that, but we'll see. Or Greg Williams, better yet. So Lewis over Guidry and Harrison. But we shall see. That's the one I went off. I stepped off the ledge a bit with that one. Bryce Hall will start on the... I don't know what they're going to put him on, to be honest. Reserve, either IR or PUP. I don't know. He was on the COVID too. He got taken off COVID, but he's still dealing with that injury. He might be on the non-football injury list right now, if I remember correctly. So I don't know exactly what his options are. I don't think it's as bad as Flacco, though, with the 6 weeks. But I don't see him making the 53. Practice squad candidates, like I said, Guidry and Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson will find himself on the practice squad unless another team comes calling and he goes. Safeties 4, May, McDougald, Ashton Davis, Matthias Farley. I've seen a lot of 3 safety picks here. And I could buy into that if not for one thing. Brant Boyer loves Matthias Farley. He's going to be a big special teams guy. He's playing personal protector on the punt team. I think when Farley wasn't there, Ashton Davis filled in. So if they need to cut Farley, I'm sure they can and throw Davis in there or a different guy. But I do know Farley's big on the special teams. I do know Brant Boyer likes him. So I roll with 4 here. 6 corners makes 10 DBs. Practice squad candidates, Shaheem Carter. Special teams, Sam Ficken, Braden Mann, Thomas Hennessy, and away we go. Brett Maher, I don't know if it's Maher, got cut, so we know the deal there. Here is for the people on YouTube, here is the graphic, the depth chart for the 53-man roster prediction. And I didn't go crazy with the depth. For example, Adoga or Fant would probably be the backup left tackle. So if it was a real depth chart, I put Fant behind Becton in addition to his starting right tackle job, then Adoga behind him. I didn't want to double any of the names up to confuse people. So that's basically it. Like Arthur Mallett backing up Poole at nickel, slot corner. He could obviously play the outsides as well. He does all the time. And that's one thing to keep an eye on. Will Desir be healthy enough to play week 1? We shall see. In terms of a quick camp recap, I mean, it was unlike any camp anyone's ever going to experience. Jets staff had to do a lot of extra running around, PR staff to abide by the guidelines and do the right thing for everybody, and that was the first and pretty much only concern for everybody initially in terms of the play on the field. Injuries. And again, I don't think it's last year in which there are legitimate serious injuries. I think the organization was being smart. They saw what was ahead. They saw the grind. They know the communication is going to be an issue for all the teams. So they figured, you know what, let's try to be as healthy as possible. You know, to hell with old school tradition. To hell with communication and trying to be together as a team. Yeah, we might struggle in the beginning, but our plan is to have the horses as the season progresses. Denzel Mims, he talked to the media after practice 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I forget which day, and you could tell he's chomping at the bit. He's frustrated. He wants to come back, and he said he would definitely be ready for week 1. Who's to say he wasn't ready to come back 10 days ago? But the Jets are taking this tact. It's extremely possible. This week, a lot of guys return to practice on the same day, so we'll see what happens. But in terms of a recap, Darnold started very slowly. He wasn't great. And then over the last 3-4 days, he really picked it up, including, I think it was the last podcast we discussed it, where he just picked apart the defense. Gase, usual Gase, ribbing it with Samini and all the veteran beat writers. He knows the injuries are a concern. So he's careful when discussing injuries. He never wants to have a misstep. One of the recent missteps was Brashad Perryman, where he thought he'd have him back already, and he's still not back. And he admitted, yep, my fault. Him in the Le'Veon Bell situation. Hammy Gate, and yeah, it's stupid to call everything, every controversial event, whatever gate, is silly, and I just did it. It's stupid. So, the communication with Gase and Bell needs to be there. Bell spoke to the media again this week. He said, he kind of put it on his own shoulders. Between him, Gase, and the trainer, the communication wasn't fully there. I think if Bell had to do it over again, he wouldn't go to Twitter right away. The positives, other than, looking outside of the injuries, the positives are really simple. Darnold's healthy, and the offensive line is really healthy. They need the offensive line to to play at least average ball and come together. The only injuries they've experienced, Alex Lewis got banged up recently, Greg Van Roten missed a day or two, and Cam Clark. But, look at the Eagles. They're missing 2 studs, Brandon Brooks and the kid the Jets. I wanted the Jets to draft. Starts with a D, I forget already. But those 2 kids, Andre Dillard, those 2 kids are out for the year. Those 2 guys are out for the year already. They might be their 2 best linemen. I mean, I know Brooks is a monster. Kelsey's still good. But Lane Johnson's good. But 2 of their best linemen, look at that situation. It's a travesty and devastating if a guy like Mekhi Becton's lost for the season. That's devastating. Darnold lost for the season. That's devastating. McGovern going down. That's terrible. The offensive line is healthy. It's a huge positive. Everyone's overlooking, and the defensive line's healthy too. Their strength is defensive line: Quinnen Williams, McClendon, Henry Anderson, Phillips, Fatukasi. Their edge is a little bit banged up. Yep, Zuniga was hurt. He's coming back. Basham's hurt. But the trenches are healthy. That's a huge deal. Is Jamal Adams going to hurt? Losing him? Yeah, it's going to kill him. It's a killer. He made up for so much that they lacked in terms of pass rush, in terms of play in space, ability along the edge. Jordan Jenkins, those guys really can't play in space. They're not true edges in the form of needing to stop a zone read. At least stick with Lamar Jackson to the point where you could set an edge and make him turn back up in the zone read. Pin your ears back and beat a tackle to the outside. They're not those guys. So Jamal Adams made up for a lot of it. But for the most part, defense dominated camp. Greg Williams, again, doesn't matter who he has, he gets it done. And the offense is a work in progress. The offensive line, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell's a guy who needs time with the offensive line, and it's like he's joining a new team again this year because the offensive line's brand new, all 5 guys. Alex Lewis wasn't starting week 1 last year. So I think as a fan, you shouldn't be, woe is me, the season's going to suck. I actually think not winning the headlines and not winning the attention is a good thing in the NFL. That means you're quietly going about your business and doing the right things and acquiring and drafting the right guys, like an Ashton Davis, who doesn't give a crap about a car and walks to work, making millions. So I think it's a good thing. Don't be devastated. Be cautiously optimistic. They have depth. They have the right individuals. There's still work to do. And they have to build a foundation on the inside with the trenches and the defensive line. And I think they're on their way. And what I saw from camp this summer leads me further to believe that. A couple of Sam Darnold plays here. Won't spend too much time on this. One of his issues this summer and in his career, but I especially saw it this summer, is he's not quick to reach the outlet. He delays. He's not quick when dumping it off to his 3rd, 4th option in the flat, on an arrow route, anything. Even a tight end stick, if it's not the number 1 or number 2 read. He's not quick in that regard. He picked it up over the last 3 days. That Wednesday practice was phenomenal. But, going back and watching the film, it's not his strength. And if he can get that decision-making down, he could be really, really good. For example, here against the Bills, 1st and 10, ball on the 41. Which play is this? Griffin to the flat, I think. Let's play it. There's Darnold. There's Griffin. Yeah, good job. This is a decent job. And he reads the defense. He reads the coverage. He knows he has the receiver on the quick out right there. Who's that? Robbie Anderson. And Griffin in the flat. So he's reading these 2 guys right here. This free safety is really shading to the 2 receiver side. Possibly a blitz. This nickelback is in kind of no man's land. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So Darnold's basically reading these 2 guys. I mean, it would be tough to be a man call based on this guy's alignment. So he's got to think it's some kind of matchup zone. And those 2 guys are so far off the ball, 8, 9 yards in another zip code. Darnold knows pre-snap where he's going to go. He knows. And when he knows, he's great and he delivers the ball perfectly. It's when he doesn't know and he doesn't give up on the primary or secondary read quick enough where he's slow to get it out to his outlet. Here he knows, ball, plant. He's always throwing from that open position. I don't know how he does it. As Blewett says, step in the bucket. And there's Herndon in the flat. Hits him. In stride. If I said Herndon, I meant Griffin. Griffin, first down. And it's just an example of Darnold knowing. It's a huge difference between him knowing where he's going to go on a 3-step and hitting his outlet when he needs to in good time with perfect accuracy. Here is one of his plus plays. Here is one of his not good plays. 2nd and 6 against the Cowboys. You were going to have a... Oh, no, this is one of his good plays. He knows exactly where he's going. You'll see the next one coming up, the one I'm referencing. But he knows exactly where it's going. It's a design swing to Bell. Hat on hat, right here, right here. It's a design swing, and watch where Darnold places it. Throws it right here, leads him perfectly, places the ball perfectly to Bell. It's a great job. Picture perfect. He knows where he wants to go pre-snap, gets it done, delivers an accurate ball. These are the plays that no one's worried about with Darnold. When he knows, and this was a design swing, there's no question about it. When he knows, he gets it done, and he delivers it with accuracy and in time. I believe this is the one that I was referencing previously, where he doesn't deliver it in time. And why? Because he had some thinking to do. Nope, this is not the one. My apologies. This is a screen. Again, great example. He knows it's going to be a wide receiver screen out of the close bunch. Perfect. Perfect. And he led him too. From here, leads the receiver. Great job. Again, knows where he's going to go pre-snap. Boom, quick release. Good job. Throwing from that open position we've all come to love about Darnold. 4th and 2 in Miami. Again, another example of knowing where he's going to go, reading it quickly. Demaryius Thomas, great execution by Jets tight end there. I think it's Griffin. First down. Delivered perfectly, even with a man in his face. Bell, I think he wants that one back. But, I mean, it's pretty simple. These Miami defenders do a terrible job. You really got to play areas. You really got to match here. And even if they tried to, they couldn't do it because Robbie Anderson and is that Griffin or Brown? I can't tell. Do a great job. A-gap blitz. Bell gets over. Darnold. Great job. When he's forced to read the play and roll through his progressions is when he starts to struggle a bit. Dallas here. This is a play where if he hits his outlet and he knows when to give up on the deep stuff, number 1 and 2, he could easily set his guy up on this shallow cross, with great yak. Watch these guys up here and watch their routes. Dallas is in a 3 deep, looks like. Single high, 4-man rush, 3 deep. And this is a great play call against a 3 deep. Because this guy's going to clear everything out, and then you have the shallow cross coming. Is it a high-low? What's Crowder doing here? Is that Crowder? Yeah. So Darnold takes it. Looking to the left. I think he's looking for this guy. We'll see it on the other angle. At this point, he doesn't have it. Look at your outlet. What down was it? 1st and 10. Look at that shallow cross. If he gives up and finds a shallow cross and hits right here, these defenders are vacating. They're getting cleared out. Right here, set him up right here, hit that outlet, and do it quickly. Instead, Darnold holds it, waits, tries to get to the shallow cross too late. Give up on that first or second read earlier. This is where he's going to make the biggest difference this year. If he can give up on those first and second reads earlier, when they're not there, tremendous. He'll be tremendous. Left, first read, it's not there. Now look for the shallow. He moves his head to the center, right here. If he throws it, Vander Esch ain't getting there. He's shuffling. If he throws it right now, leads him here. I can't tell who that is. I think it's Vincent Smith, but I can't tell. It's going to be a big play. No, it's Demaryius Thomas. It's going to be a big play. That's a linebacker. That's Jalen Smith on him. And Darnold has time to get rid of it. But he doesn't. I think he tries to look at a different player again. Last moment. Sacked. Another one. Dallas. This one is to Vincent Smith. You'll see Darnold. Again, it's a longer developing play. 5-7 step. Completes it to Vincent Smith, but again, too late. Too late. Where does he look first? Turns left, now turns right. At this point, what do you have? You could pop it to Bell in the flat. That's a legit chance. That's a legit shot right there. What is it? 2nd and 6? You can't tell. 2nd and something. About 2nd and 9, I would say. But he looks right. Right now. If he looks for Smith and hits Smith right now, he can get a couple extra yards in Yak and make it a 3rd and 3. But he waits. Right there. Off the plant right there. Smith. On the sit. Right there. Doesn't do it. Waits. He has to make a tough catch. Watch Darnold's head, his eyes here. Get out of the way, camera. Left, right, plant. Nope. Do it quicker. Starts with the meaningless look to the left. He wants to go to the right the entire time. Plant, looks at Bell. First Griffin, then Bell. At this point, come back. Come back to Smith. Hit him. Don't waste all that time. But he does. Just happening, breaking. Jonathan Harrison, has posted on his IG that he's been released, which is a shocker. Jonathan Harrison released. He thanks the fans and the organization. Let's see here. 1 owner, 2 general managers, 3 O-line coaches, hundreds of teammates, and thousands of diehard fans. It's been a hell of a 3 years, and I enjoyed every single day of being a Jet. I first want to thank the organization for the opportunity to be a part of the Gangrene family. From the first time I visited Florham Park, I've been treated with the utmost respect and professionalism. Being the recipient of the team's Walter Payton Man of the Year award was truly an honor and a memory that will forever be seared in my soul. For that, I thank you. To my brothers in the locker room, damn, I'm going to miss y'all. So this is the second shoe to drop in the 53-man roster. And already feeling like I'm in the NCAA tournament. 1 down, 1 incorrect already. And Saturday isn't even here. So I'm sure a lot more will be incorrect, ladies and gents. But aside from that, we'll just wait till Saturday, see what happens. It's 8:30 right now. This should get up on YouTube and through the podcast system within the next hour. And tomorrow will be one hell of a transaction day in the NFL, including the Jets. And we'll see what their first initial 53-man roster looks like. As we know, that's kind of a silly tradition to prognosticate and celebrate because it changes within hours after you set that first 53-man roster. But until next time, check out Sabo Radio on iTunes, rate, review, check out JetsXFactor.com, Cool Your Jets podcast, Blue It's Blitz. And again, we're going to start doing the live stuff. So get your phones ready, call in, chat on YouTube, do all that stuff. We'll probably start it next week. I'm thinking 3 a week of these live shows, maybe Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. I think that might be the ticket. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And Sunday would be after each game. So Tuesday, Thursday, then after each game. Whether it's Sunday, Monday, what have you. So be on the lookout for that next week. That's coming. YouTube and Facebook. Like I said, iTunes, Blew It Splits. Check out the first live episode that we did 2 days ago. And until next time.